Welcome to the final panel presentation of the 2018 residency of the International Writing Program. Week by week, we have assembled here every Friday to eat pizza, courtesy of Downing Thomas at International Programs and his staff, and also courtesy here of Susan Craig, Beth Fisher, and the wonderful staff at the Iowa City Public Library. Previous panels have involved the same format where 4, sometimes 5 writers would present a written paper and then open it up to discussion. But for our final panel, Images of America, we invite the writers to come up and speak off the cuff about some enduring image they will take home to their respective countries after this magical time here in Iowa City and in travels around the country. Usually what I do is something like what we do you might do at a Quaker meeting, which is I wait for somebody to be inspired to come up and start the whole ball rolling, but this year we even have a plan. And, but what we'll ask the writers to, who will come up in their own order, to say their name and the country they come from before telling us the story. And, but I think we're starting in Armenia today with our own. I should add, he has some audio-visual aids.
Hello. It's really difficult to say goodbye, but yeah. I want to say really thank you for all. It's for this amazing time. It's it's very important part of my life, not just only as a writer, as an individual, as a person. And I find many friends, and I miss my friends. Just started, and so Imagine of America. I don't know. If I recognize America or no, but I recorded some videos in Chicago, in Davenport, Iowa, New Orleans. So I want to represent these videos. It's very short videos. I don't know why I recorded just only this part of videos, but I want to say I find just a little bit America into loneliness, and so, but maybe for America it's important and a little bit different time, but I hope I love America and I hope it's become future is, I hope it's very well. So, thank you.
So if you double click where it says part 1,
yeah.
Yep, it'll play all of them. Just double click.
Yes, thank you. Just a sound.
Yeah.
Hi.
Harrison Street. In 600 feet, turn left onto West 2nd Street.
Okay. Hello. I prepared yesterday night. I wrote this in drunk. First of all, this day was wonderful. This is my first visit to the US. It was great experience for me as a writer. However, since I am a writer, when I was asked images of America, I remember not only the good impression, but also the unpleasant impression. I think that is the role of a writer. There are always two opposite things in a writer. First and foremost, our stay was the common life of people gathering from different countries, North America, along with the wonderful time sharing. But also there should have been some uncomfortable or confusing moments. And there were many ideas that didn't come to surface in our days. That is inevitable and natural. It's a story between writers of various countries. Perhaps similar things are going on in this country of America too. For me, live in Japan that accept immigrants very, very little. They were the moments to be nervous. I still cannot catch American English, but I became able to speak in English a bit with the writers. I also memorized several English expressions I had never used before. So, once again, I will say like this. I should to say like this. I have to say like this with greatest familiarity. This day was wonderful. It was a great experience for me as a writer. I love you, America. Fuck you, America. Thank you, America.
Okay. So I wasn't drunk when I wrote this, but thank you for having me here, the program. And actually, I wrote this just before I came out of the hotel, so I hope it's okay. America. I write now America with a K. I wanted to have my own significant America. America for me, a private one, America of my own. For the last 3 months, I have seen so many Americas, I tried to write down a list. One, America of capital and another capital and another capital. America from the top of the hill. America of cornfields, of fall leaves of rivers. America of long, wide as a sea, Mississippi River. America of Mississippi, goddamn. America of the biggest libraries have ever seen with automatic on-off lights on the endless bookshelves. America of gun stores. America of vast, endless, of great wide open. Suddenly Tom Petty's songs recharges with reality, with a view. America of interstate roads, of big pickup trucks. America of please take your time serving your bill while you're still eating. Please take your time. America of a hotel room, 5.5 steps to the window, a bed, a microwave. The coffee loses its warmth too fast. Not talking about the taste, okay? America of Chicago, I now call it Chi, city that glitters like diamonds from afar. America of opportunities, yes, America of opportunities, despite Trump. My America was also the America I saw on my IWP colleagues' Instagram and Facebook. America digested through the brilliant minds and thoughts of writers from places I have never visited. Sorry, I was crying. I cried at the first day. And places that I will never visit because of my passport. I'm from Israel, by the way. Okay. Yeah. America of at least 3 steps of bureaucracy before doing any step to get anything. Ma'am, please give me your zip code. America, where I wrote my first novel, I hope. America, where I hope always to return, because even after 3 months, I feel like I've seen only a bit. America, where my Hebrew stays deep inside. America of longing to home. Where my love becomes a love of text messages. Sorry. America, don't worry, I will miss you too. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Faisal Oda. I'm from Indonesia. Please take a picture for me, take a video for me. Like what we did all the time in here in America. Actually, I have something to read, but I wrote something. I wrote a novel here. I wrote a novel, and you know, I got my 24th birthday here in Iowa, and at the time, my best friend Kai gave me a present, 2 books about Raymond Carver. So the novel I wrote is about Carver. I call it fictional biography. So I wrote in Bahasa Indonesia, but actually it's already translated by the most famous translator in the world, the most productive translator in the world. We know, Google Translate. Thank you for Google Translate. So here we have Lee Marcia. It will be a great honor if Lee read this piece for me. The title is How to Kill Raymond Carver, a fictional biography. Please welcome Lee Marcia.
How to Kill Raymond Carver. In 1988, on the 2nd day of August, Raymond Carver died of lung cancer. 30 years later, at 10 o'clock at night, he stood at the door of my room and seemed healthy. He begged like a starving dog. He wanted to commit suicide and asked for my help. He was heartbroken and said death was more fun, But death was cowardly. He didn't want anyone to want it, Carver added. How could you still be alive? Are you a ghost? Wait, it seems like, no, you're more frightening than a ghost. Do you know how many short stories, novels, and poems I wrote? Hundreds, maybe thousands. He laughed, his laughter like a mockery. I lied that much, so it's easy for me to lie about my death. Lung cancer, all lies. He tried to convince me. Damn, even though I stopped drinking and getting drunk for her, Tess Gallagher was indeed a censored. You know, she never really loved me. She forced me to live with Marianne Gallagher, who was indeed a censored. You know, everything is that. Marianne is that also. His eyes were red and glazed. He occasionally drank the vodka in his fist. He kept begging, I have no one. You can take all my money after you kill me and bury my body and keep that secret from everyone. I doubt him, but who doesn't want money? Curious, I asked, you live alone like this, get drunk. How could you get rich? How could you stay alive? It's a miracle. He laughed, and unfortunately, I was carried away. His laugh stopped, and his eyes narrowed, and then he laughed again, then downed the vodka, then paused a few seconds before his laughter exploded. I'm a writer, and I'm rich. I use a pen name, or maybe we can say I'm a ghostwriter. He was silent, looking, thinking. His vodka was stressed. So, have you heard the name Haruki Murakami? He patted my shoulder like a teacher who was advising his student. I nodded. I wrote all his books. Hard to believe. That stupid man, he knew nothing about literature, knew nothing about jazz. The only thing he knew was running. And you know, you don't need to be smart or a reader of books to run. Raymond Carver was still standing in my front room. He looked nervous. Are you still not sure? I was silent and did nothing but wait for him to continue the story. Do you know why Murakami has been nominated several times for the Nobel Prize but never won? I shook my head. Because of the agreement. He can't win an award that I have never won. So we bribe the Nobel Committee every year so he doesn't win. Where did you get that money? I'm still curious. I told you, from book royalties. I bought Iowa House Hotel from Norwegian Wood Royalty. You can own this hotel if you kill me. So when are you ready to die? By now, I was impatient. Now, Carver said, more impatient. Well, come in. Raymond Carver passed over the threshold of my room, and I suddenly realized I didn't even have a knife. My eyes were fixed on the black microwave above the fridge. Ooh. Mood lighting. Do you want a death like Sylvia Plath's death? He guessed what I was thinking. A microwave is different from an oven, young man. We laughed and suddenly stopped when Raymond Carver pointed to a thin book on my desk. That book. You will kill me easily with that book. I did not understand what he was saying. I stood picking up the book he'd pointed to, Pablo Neruda's love poems. Read now, Carver ordered. I will die if I hear one bad poem read all night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aha, Hauepi. My name is Gina Cole. I'm from New Zealand. And I wrote something. And I didn't write it when I was drunk. It's called American Languages. When I first arrived in Iowa, I made contact with Joyce Big Soldier of the Iowa tribe of Oklahoma. to find out how to say hello in the Iowa language. She told me that Iowa women speak a different greeting to the men. Women say aha, hawe pi. Men say aho, hawe pi. This use of differing languages for men and women is new to me as an English speaker. She told me that if a male child is raised by his mother or grandmother, then he will grow up around her form of the language, and you can tell when he speaks that women raised him. Culture is contained in language. And I try to honor the Iowa people by speaking their greeting. I don't know if I get it right, but it is all that I can do. There are no seagulls in Iowa. Coming from New Zealand, a skinny island nation in the South Pacific, where you are never further than 120 kilometers from the sea, it is a little strange to live for 3 months in a landlocked state and never see or hear seagulls. But there are squirrels in Iowa. It's a fair trade-off. I see squirrels in Iowa City every single day, and I worry about where they will go in the winter. I will miss the furry little creatures. It seems that squirrels are part of IWP culture. While I have not been close to the sea, I have come to know rivers, great bodies of water that have followed me and entered into the language of my writing. The Iowa River, the Chicago River, and the immense Mississippi River. Since I have been here, I have been surrounded by the languages of 27 other residents. I also learned that even though I speak English, sometimes Americans cannot understand me. But I hope you understand me when I say that I have experienced nothing but kindness from the people of Iowa and the amazing crew of the International Writing Program and all the other residents. Thank you for your hospitality and for the amazing opportunity to spend time here in Iowa. And thanks to all the amazing writers I have met for your friendship and community in the love of language. I was going to say the language of love, but it's actually the love of language. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jamila from Argentina. I also wrote a little thing. It is usual in panels or chats to address the topic of how literature relates to life. I don't know why, I could never think of something to say about that. For me, literature and life are of course related, but also tend to keep their distance from each other. But during this time in Iowa and some other cities, I came to understand much better Hemingway's iceberg theory. Like an iceberg, a short story only shows a fragment of the bigger thing that it really is, and it hides the rest. Well, I feel something like that when walking around in Iowa, when talking to people from the States. I have the feeling that they are only showing a very little fragment of a whole, a polite and very lovely fragment. So I've been wondering what is there under the water. But more importantly, I've been wondering why has the sea level risen so much here? Of course, I don't have answers, but I like the questions because they are questions about people, about relationships. In this context, I also understand much better that other question that Raymond Carver put in the title of his book, the question about love. I came to understand that a little gesture can substitute an entire love story. If the top of the iceberg is warm, you can see inside it. Among all my friends here, not Americans and Americans in America, I learned something that I should have learned much earlier. But I guess I was waiting for them to realize this. 3 months can count as an entire life, and love can be transparent and simple. Thank you for this wonderful experience.
Hello, my name is Bais Katlang. I'm from Mongolia. I wrote something on my computer. America, you are beautiful. I entered your border check barefoot. At the same time, I left all my identities just on the other side of your border and came in as a nobody rather than a little Asian woman. I had to build my existence from the start, sometimes had to draw even my country's existence on the brain of your very polite, highly educated citizens. When they say, I thought Mongolia is the wasteland with just horses and nomads, I say, if so, surely a white man would come there and discover Mongolia. But America is a country I discovered myself from many different angles. For example, America is a place where my country's name exists only on the packages of some fast food and menus of Chinese restaurants with the compound word beef. Only here I realized that I am a beef eater, because every time my colleagues who have been suffering by finding a place to eat proper meals for themselves suggest me, Baisa, we found a nice place with beef. But seriously, we don't eat beef with full dish of onions soaked in soy sauce. Disappointed by my new identity as a beef eater, I had to go to a bar every evening and order some beef eater and relief. America, I think you are the only country in the world which can proudly advertise your beggar's pizza and kindly suggest your poor man's breakfast. Because Oshra and me went to a restaurant in Chicago, and in the menu of that place there were poor man's breakfast and beggar's pizza. When the waitress asked how was their poor man's breakfast, I found myself telling that it was amazing, but still kind of expensive for me. When my friends blamed me for the brutal wars of Genghis Khan, half joking, half serious, and I listened to their arguments, half guilty, half innocent, an American guy interfered and asked, "Who is that guy?" Mongolians would be disappointed to be blamed for the actions of our ancestors today, but they would be more angry to be unrecognized by their great history. America, you are a real slap in the face, destroying whole nations' pride by a single question. I love it. By the way, where were you, America, at that time, and where are you going now? Look at this confused, unidentified little Asian woman whose country was the greatest empire in the world in the past, just like you. You saw me from the past of the world history, from the backwardness of human development. But I see you as my yesterday. Hold your hand together, America. Keep doing great, America. If not, I'm your future, America. I really love you, America. Thank you.
Now we're queuing up. No one wanted to go first. Hi, my name is Rasha Khayat. I come from Germany. I wrote something this morning, also not drunk, and it's very short. and I didn't know what to write. And then I met Tahila in the breakfast room, and we talked about it. And she said, you know, just think about one frame, you know, instead, because I have a tendency of over-explaining things. My friends know this. So I thought about what was my best day here. So I wrote about that, and it's really, really short. We call her Sally. A red Mazda we rent and drive off, out of Iowa City, away and along the freeway. We look at America, all the space, all the light, almost too much sky. There was a time, a storm that blew so pure, for this could be the biggest sky. We stop along the way, we buy potato chips with pickle flavor, beef jerky, and sparkling water that tastes of lime and soap, things we have never had before in our lives. On a narrow gravel road, we see a massive eagle picking up flesh of a dead raccoon. Out in the great wide open, rebels without a clue. Sally takes us to the countryside. We see covered bridges, smoke by the river, and silently look at the colors. Red, gold, and green, red, gold, and green. American tourists come by and talk too much. We pass by the roadside motels and gas stations. I expect John Goodman at any time to appear and acting out a scene from a Coen Brothers movie. And later, when it gets dark, we go home. Sally plays Lou Reed for us. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Imani Yousef. I come from United Arab Emirates from Dubai. I really hate saying goodbyes, so I thought of an idea. Let's play a game. For every letter of the English alphabet, I chose a word that will remind me forever of Iowa. I will start. A. A is for America, in which I spent all my childhood summers. Which for me was vacations, Sundays, banana splits, pancakes, parks, really long hours at Target and Walmart, Disneyland, Mall of America, until I came back this year as the first Emirati writer. B, for the bridges of Madison County, the book, the movie, and the most important, trip to see them. Thank you, Chuck. C, for the common room where we first met, celebrated birthdays, heard writers laugh from my room, and I felt less homesick many nights. D, for Dane's family harvest party where I had my first hot cider. E, for effigy mounds with all the magic, mystery, and beauty. F, for Faisal, my friend who cooked me Indonesian food when I was really sick and could not leave my bed. G, for Gabe, the St. Bert chef that made me taste carrot tea ice cream here in Iowa, among yummy dishes from Lithuania, Venezuela, and Fiji. H, for Haifa, a friend and a sister that I did not meet home, but at the last place I expected and was looking. I, for Iowa, an acronym for where dreams come true. J, for James, a friend who speaks Japanese and who one can never ask for better. K, for kitchen, in which I shared unforgettable moments. L, for Lee, who would edit my paper, which I would send 2 days before an event, sometimes shorter. M, for Marianne, a legendary woman with a laugh to love. N, Natasha, who made a lot possible. For Mary, for Sonia, for Sarah, for Hugh, for Chris, and all the IWP staff too. O, for only 3 kilograms that I have gained. Luckily, I've been told that I may gain more. P, for Prairie Lights, where I spend almost all my money there. Q, Q for quarters, 6 for washing machines, and 4 for dryers. R for the rice maker that saved my life. Sorry, Mary, I've been cooking in my room. Okay. S for Seattle, where I went to meet Tom Hanks, but did not. And, well, he did not show up. Instead, I had the best time of my life. T for 27 writers, whom I would mention and remember for the rest of my life. I love you guys. U for Omar, a man with a soul. He knows what's that about. V for 5 days that are left for us here in Iowa. W for walls on which my words were displayed among other writers with lights in downtown. X for why did I choose such a tough game for this panel? I was out of words by then. Y yellow trees, which by viewing I witnessed my first fall ever. Z 0 words, for there are no words when one says goodbye to loved ones.
Hi, it's a pleasure to see you all here. I'm Katerina Babkina from Ukraine. And I know that after a while, all the big things like conceptual or ideological impressions will be gone and forgotten, but details, the tiny hints of Americanness will remain. So what are those details that the image of America is made of for me? Americans are really good in queuing and making lines and waiting lists. And waiting lists to get a place in queue to write down your name in a waiting list to be placed on the line. I gonna miss this. This brings the feeling of the system, the order, the security. Everything is happen when it turns comes. Normally it was in the lines that I met those people who told me, you're from Ukraine. Wow, I have a grandparent from there. Sometimes it felt that there are less people with Ukrainian grandparents in Ukraine than in here. However, at least they don't state it that happily. Americans generally state everything very happily. They appreciate it. They are honored. Everything is interesting, wonderful, great. Everything is amazing. In America, I also discovered that the duck has knees. That's because I was given duck knees as a dish in a restaurant once, and it was not eatable at all, and it costed $22 plus $6 of gratitude that I had to pay because we were at the group more than 5. And, well, I was grateful. I appreciated it. Duck you, I said. Have a good one, they told me back in response. When Americans say goodbye, they wish you to have a good one. Have no idea what it is, but at least it is good, and there is only one of it. Thank you, my good and only one America. I knew so few about you, and now I got a chance to discover you like the knees of a duck. Thank you, International Writing Program. I stated happily. I'm honored and delighted, and everything was interesting, great, amazing, wonderful, and I appreciate it, and I did have the good one.
Because I don't want to cry, Lynn helped me to read.
I came to Iowa hungry, very hungry, not only with the murderous hunger that many suffer in my country today. I was hungry for a lot of things, hungry to sit on a bench and let the hours pass, hungry to walk without fear, hungry to see myself in quiet hours, hungry to read without fear, hungry to tremble without fear, hungry to write without hurry, hungry to go to a library, fall hunger, hungry for new voices, hungry to go to a supermarket without crying, hungry to eat without guilt, hungry for guilt without guilt, hungry for a city, hungry for a country. I came to Iowa hungry, very hungry. I'm leaving Iowa with some hunger, with some new hunger, but that will not make me cry, but remember and thank. I'm leaving Iowa hungry to walk along the river, hungry to have breakfast looking at the river, hungry for quiet hours, hungry for a quiet city, hungry for a quiet Jacqueline, hungry to be a writer in hours of their own, hungry for you, hungry for your voices. I'm leaving Iowa with hunger for this city, hungry for this country, hungry for another autumn, hungry for who I have been in Iowa, hungry for Iowa, with hunger for Iowa. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Huang Chongkai. Everybody call me Kai. I just back Iowa because I stay Austin, Texas last week. From the bar on the 6th Street, a white brother was calling me and greeted me. He reached out and gave me 5, almost like to hug me. He asked me, "You watch the game?" I didn't know what the game, but I nod. After a few seconds, I found out I wearing an Iowa sweater. But the jacket covered too late, so he just see that. New Orleans with Sonia, Zhao, Adriana. Visit the Whitney plantation. The guide is a black man, telling the history of the plantation, the history of the slave, and the history of the South. The 3 levels are stacked together. This well-preserved plantation is a step-by-step reminder of all kinds of historical memories. I'm like walking into the world of Colson Whitehead's novel, The Underground Railroad. It seems that you can hear the bell ringing, the black slave huddled in the wooden house. The white master had a meal in the big house. A heavy rain stretched us. We wait for the bus that didn't know when it would come. Chicago, with Gina, Roberto, Yusho, Baisa. I entered the Major League game for the first time, go out of the subway station and walk to the guaranteed red field to see 2 teams with poor record. The White Sox rookie pitcher is a rainmaker. Every time he pitched, it would be rain. We saw that he was hit by a leadoff home run and then knocked down by 3 home runs in an inning, and then it rained twice. Iowa, with all of you and nice people. Gina, Roberto, and I were invited to a panel at the Cole College. Few days later, Professor Monica invited us to her house. He is a Catalan from Barcelona. She is a Catalan from Barcelona. We had a hearty dinner at her house, chatting and dancing. The new Japanese librarian, Mr. Halada, always talk a few words when we meet in library. We had a lunch together and talked about many his life in United States. In the United States, lots of people from different places in the world. They meet with various memories and cultures, speak different accents of English, and try to live together. And thank you, America, and thank you, IWP. Thank you, all my resident colleagues. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I just wrote this while I was sitting down there. How do you talk about a country that has been on your mind from the day you became intelligent enough to watch Hollywood, to read books written by authors you have loved from childhood? This was my first visit to America. And the moment I came to this city, Iowa City, I knew this would be home. From the smile of Aliyah, who stood at the airport, ready to help me with my numerous bags, to the smile of the residents who welcomed me at breakfast the next morning. But the city showed me a difference to my usual. From the restaurants that served water first before food, the waitresses who came with smiles to remind you, how's the food going here? From the first tornado I experienced with such curious excitement that it lost its strength. From Iman to Haifa, the ever-smiling ladies who I came to love as the sisters I never had. From Marianne, who opened the doors of her home for me to cook my first Nigerian food. To Sarah, who gave me the chance to have the first and best pizza in Chicago. She's the boldest woman I have come to meet. To Megan, my savior in New Orleans. To this city that gave me 27 unforgettable friends. City that gave me love, happiness, a second home, a place of peace after all my tragedies. I have seen love from the arms that can hug me no more. But in the arms and hugs of Mary, I felt the warmest love I was familiar with. Going back home will leave me with one memory only. This may never happen again. This moment, this time, these people, this room. I'll return to a life I am accustomed to, but as I live on, this moment has been tucked away softly to the crevices of my memory. A Nigerian woman who began 2018 with the deepest loneliness, deprived of love and joy, but ended it with the memory of love, laughter, and happiness. And if she never has this again, she will live to always remember that this was a moment she will never forget. Thank you.
Wow, this is too emotional. This morning, when we were walking towards library, group of friends, I felt very silent and emotional. All of us were feeling like that. I said, it looks like we are walking towards a funeral ceremony. Someone we love, we don't want to miss. When we first came, one of you, I think it was Chris Merrill, he said, when you come to Iowa, you cry. When you leave, also you cry, maybe more. This happened to all of us. I don't want to cry. I wrote a piece, My America. My America was a very deep experience. I have completed the most important work of my life here. I have closed the most important part of my life that was remained open. Yes, here, I completed the first draft of my Kurdish poetry book. In the reflections of the light, and the trees on the lake which surround the art library, which was my oasis here. To me, this is the more precious than the 10 books I have published in Turkish, which have been translated into many other languages. Although I was so far from my home here in Iowa, I was so close to my real being. In my mind here, I was close to the sound of my childhood, which is still banned in my country. As Kurds, we are still not allowed to have education in our language. But here in America, I found a way to go deeply into my memories and collect the sounds which were lost in time. I picked up the sounds that were buried in my childhood time. I felt like an archaeologist who tries to find the missing pieces, digs up the earth, and collects the lost voices. An archaeology of voice. This experience is so important because more than being a poet, it is about my being human. Because I deeply believe that all this proves that we are alive. There is a very fragile layer between life and death. If you are dead, you don't have a voice. The voice is something almost metaphysical. The intellectual discipline provided by the IWP program made it easier for me to do this. Thank you all. Thank you, IWP, and thank you to all the wonderful, wonderful people I meet, and I will remain friend. Thank you.
I didn't prepare at all because I was drunk or because I was sober. I don't know. That's up to you. I just, just wanted to say a few words without crying. That when I arrived here, we went to the Shambha house, and then Ali said, hey, read that poem on the wall. It's really beautiful. And the poem was I Didn't Sleep by Marvin Bell, which starts, I didn't sleep in the lights. I couldn't sleep in the dark. I didn't sleep at night. I was awake all day. I didn't sleep in the leaves or between the pages. And really, it was a story that happened to me. I saw that, and I really didn't sleep for 3 months. I have really not been able to sleep. And I wrote to a friend of mine who has insomnia, and just before I came here, I was speaking to him, and I thought, oh, how horrible not to be able to sleep. And then, yesterday, just before leaving, I wrote him a message saying, hey, I just wanted to tell you that I haven't been sleeping in 3 months. And then I open up the messenger thing and I see that I had sent him this poem, I Didn't Sleep. Like, okay, so I thought at the beginning that I wasn't sleeping because of the silence. America is very silent. It's vast and quiet. But at the same time, it's filled with alarm. I sleep right above, my window is right above the silent river, and then the place where the trucks unload in the morning. And you guys have alarms for everything. So the reverse, every time a car goes in reverse, it's an alarm. And every morning I wake up with this at actually 4:48. It starts with a beeping of something that may happen, of something horrible, of some kind of an alarm. Then the fire alarm, obviously. And then every time I speak to someone from home, they say, what is this horrible sound? I say, it's this factory that they have, and, every day it goes off. Why? I don't know, because it's some kind of a... So I thought maybe it was all of these, the differences between the quietness and then all of these alarms and all of this noise that I hear that... But that's, for me, is America, this combination of these two extremes. And then I realized that I think I wasn't able to sleep because of all the voices. And actually, that's you, all of you. Because every day I was with 27 people from, 26 different countries. And then all you Americans with all your different experiences. And my brain would not shut down. And I loved this, and as much as I loved it, I hated it. So just like you, Sho, I have the same things to say, And I don't want to cry, so I'm going to stop here. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's really interesting that our panel title is Images of America, because I'm not sure, or I saw a lot of America by being here, but you know, I think for me it was more images of the world, not America. America it's also included, because like my colleagues mentioned, I spend a lot of time with writers from different countries. It's, correct me if I'm not right, but it's 27 writers here from 26 different countries, because we have two writers from Venezuela. So, and I heard a lot of interesting things from all of them, and now I'm feeling more connected with all these different countries, all these different backgrounds. And actually, for me, it was more experience about world than America. But also, I have few images about America, and I want to share with you these images. I am poet. Aushra from Lithuania, but here I was struggling to write my first novel. I didn't succeed, actually, after I'm going to Pittsburgh residency, so maybe it would be better for me. But here I finished my 5th poetry book. So I have a lot of you know, things to do, and I'm happy that I finished 1 book from 2 what I planned. And like poet, I wanted to share just few images, and I think in very metaphorical way they can explain my thoughts and my experiences here. So first image actually is from University of Iowa Library. We went to elevator with my friend writer from Mongolia, Baisa. And we found in this elevator one giant guy, and this guy was, you know, like from Twin Peaks series, you know, just standing, very huge guy, you know, and very young, with this yellow uniform that, you know, people here wearing. Yeah, and you know, and he just gazed us, you know, just. And elevators start moving, and it was no way to escape, and this gaze was not very friendly. I thought. And, you know, and he just asked us, so, from which state are you? And I looked at him and I thought, oh, no, we are from 2 different continents, actually, you know. And he just... was, you know, like very, I don't know. 2 different continents in 1 elevator? And after it was, you know, this very strange silence. And after, you know, this guy showed his way to be kind for us. And he just changed topic of conversation and asked us, so did you see this new horror movie, Nun? Yeah. So it's about my experience, I think, and I want to thank all of you guys. It was amazing experience, and I think I will include all this experience in my future works, for sure. Thank you, bye.
Hi, everyone. Well, a lot of people had kind of compliment my English while I've been here, so I decided to write a little bit about it. I'm Adriana Borja Enriquez from Ecuador, but the first time I visited the US some years ago, I was not me. Back then, I was a brown person, a very young suspect, the service, and illegal, even while having a visa. A Mexican, according to the assumptions of some people.
When I corrected some of them about my nationality, I got the funniest answers. Some people thinking all Latinos are Mexican, or that Ecuador was the capital of El Salvador, or a country in Africa. The less friendly and not very respectful people limited their interaction towards me only to make it clear that I didn't belong here and that I was not allowed to speak Spanish because it was in America. Living in English felt like walking in tight shoes every day. I was also on a J-1 visa, and the months I spent in the US back in the day felt very long and distressing. Now I'm speaking in front of you with my accent and proud of it. I have felt safe to speak Spanish this time. I was even invited to read in Spanish during the residency more than once, and I'm aware that this safety and comfort I feel now is related to a privilege I didn't have before and not everyone fully have now. I bet that further than the evident, the black and yellow in the campus, of course, there must be so much we don't know and we don't get to see about this land from our position as residents. So it could be hard to get the big picture of this country for me if I didn't have this first experience to compare with. I can say that Iowa City gave me memories, words, long nights, a colorful fall, a river, and a huge nostalgia of the mountains I live surrounded by in my city. But Iowa also gave me a reminder of the absence and the challenges of being a woman. Molly and Celia were murdered in Iowa after we arrived. And even if I never met them, during these weeks I have probably walked close to the friends these girls left behind, and I've wondered how are they remembered beyond the news. And I don't want to begin to speak about the news because it will take more than 3 minutes. This time, I've been here again on a J-1 visa, and these months have felt like a very short time to enjoy and process all the experiences and information we've shared. I have been part of the vision a woman had one day. So thank you, Wally, for dreaming and working along with Paul to make it real. Thanks to everyone that keeps working to make IWP still be real. And thanks to this great crowd that taught me that friendship can be portrayed in the kind act of repeating an idea in different words, using even signs and faces, until we get to communicate in an English beautifully colored with our own particular accents. We've made jokes and laughed. We celebrated a lot of birthdays and even a genetic test. We celebrate words because more than writers, we are humans. And we spoke about what we read and write, our fears and dreams, our mothers and friends, and how much we miss our partners and kids and cats and food, and our language on the streets, among other matters, and also what we hate of our back home. English now, for me, is not an imposition anymore. It has been a bridge to get to listen to a bit of the world I found here in Iowa. Thank you.
Hello. I'm Roberto Echeto. I don't have many images of Iowa because to me, Iowa is an inner space, a mental state. I could tell you about the river, or the bridges, or the buildings, or the sounds of the city, or the Shakespearean theater at the park, but I'd rather not. I think Iowa loves the fall. During the summer, I didn't see young people laughing, having fun, or kissing each other as I see in this beautiful fall. The cold brings love to Iowans. I don't like Foxhead. I prefer Clinton Social Club, and even jeans with its wall full of pictures of cows. I love bleak art materials, the best place in Iowa to dissolve a tiny hangover. For bigger hangovers, it's best to rest in bed watching Godfather's trilogy. In Iowa, I learned many things about Spanish. For instance, I knew Spanish is used by many people who are engaged with old-fashioned and dangerous ideas, but I didn't realize how it affects my own work and my thoughts. Here, I understood the dimension of the struggle am I in. I went to Riverside, the place in Iowa where Captain James T. Kirk was born. Angie Dickey drove me there. This trip was one of the most important in my residence in Iowa. I was looking for something to write about, something about this land which would allow me to say thank you and give back a little of the respect and care which I received here. I went to the Star Trek Fan Museum at the entrance of Riverside, and I put with pride the tag over Venezuela at the map next to the door. Then we visited two places, the funny landmark and the statue of Captain Kirk. Yes, I went to Riverside, a nice and peaceful town in Iowa. But observe, the most important part of this trip happened in the section of my mind or my soul, I don't know, touched by fiction. Cities are made of citizens' dreams. The dream of Iowa includes me, and I feel very honored and grateful for that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to read something dedicated to all my friends and colleagues of the IWP. En esta ciudad, los días huyen como la luz entre los árboles, como las ardillas de madera incansable. El tiempo no es del río ni de la oscura garganta que ruge 3 veces cada día. Es nuestro y se mueve muy adentro y se abre y se ciñe a su lógica de semilla áspera. Cada uno de nosotros tuvo su árbol y lo usó como quiso o como pudo. Fue o no fue feliz. Fue la ardilla o el frío o la piedra o el humo. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm losing my voice, all right. My name is Jordan. I come from Haifa Abu Nadi. Housekeeping. Oh God, I'm freaking out. I have a panel in an hour, and I still haven't prepared anything for it. I've been struggling for an idea the whole week. I even asked Iman, Gina, Roberto, and Bijan to give me the paragraphs they overlooked for their writings. Oh yeah, I am that desperate. I'm very tired and still haven't had the idea. I wish I was driving now. I miss driving. I miss my car. I usually get inspired when I'm driving. Oh God, why don't we have more time? Yesterday was August 18th. What's happening? Is it because of climate change? Lee, where are you? I know what you're gonna say. Haifa, let's take a deep breath right now. In, out. In, out. Thank you, Lee. I feel better now. Well, I believe memories are created and treasured because of the people we meet and the places we visit. So I've decided I'm going to be Santa Claus for some time, and instead of giving gifts, I'll be collecting some. 1, I wish I could hijack Peter. You know Peter? The walking encyclopedia we all met in the Iowa Main Library in the treasure section? Yeah, I am taking him back home with me. He's a treasure to keep. Please take extra good care of him. 2, Natasha, who takes care of each and every single detail in the morning, in the afternoon, late at night, on the weekends, online. She's always there. She makes campus life and the learning process more bearable and much easier for everyone. 3, I'm going to miss the color yellow. Places I visited within walking distances. Places I visited without walking distances, using Uber. New words and phrases I learned from all of you throughout the residency, as in, have a good one, or Marianne's vicinity, or use off the cuff, and James's explanation of protest against, protest for, or protest about. 4, I'm going to miss the Iowa River and the guy who takes off his black suit and white shirt and swims in the river almost every morning. 5, I'm going to miss the books I read and those I didn't. Don't worry, I won't be stealing any. Thank you, scanner. 6, the IHH. We all know this for sure. The Iowa, together, the Iowa House Hotel. Thank you. And the extra empty bed beside me in my room. 7, the jazz music I listened to in the social club on a Thursday night. The onions I don't like and I don't eat, while Americans adore, I wonder why, and use in almost every dish, even corn. 9, I still don't know how to hug a river, but I know how to raise such a question. 10, actually, I forgot to continue 10. All right, continue writing it. 11, let's skip 10. 11, the tiny tornado, the tiny tornado that came to the window of my room one night and started crying because it was looking for its mother tornado. Don't worry, that was just a dream. I am coming back to Jordan, holding in my mind a chain of endless dreams and nightmares too. I assure you, this is important for the creative process of writing. 12, Iman, you will see me in February. 13, the beautiful variation of writers coming from various parts of the world. Thank you so much. IWP, thank you so much, my fellow writers. 14, no one can ever get enough of Iowa, so I'm coming back. That's a promise. 15, front desk. Thank you very much, guys.
Hi, I'm Omar Timur from Mauritius. So yesterday I showed the text I'm going to read to a close friend, and she told me that he's naive. I thought about it, and then I realized that I don't care really. One can be naive for a day. So let me say a few words about love. I have made a few very good friends here, and I love them dearly. I felt a real connection with them, and I hope we'll stay friends till the end. I also feel a deep love for this country. I'm not saying this to be nice. This is my second lengthy visit to the States, and there's something about this country which moves me deeply. It is not a blinded love, obviously, especially at a time when this country is struggling with its soul. It is more of a serene and quiet love. Love also for Iowa City. I will miss these long walks early in the morning or at night along this beautiful river, these peaceful and mystical walks. I will miss the beautiful light of Iowa City. I wonder sometimes if this is some kind of heavenly abode, out of time, out of space. and love also for the incredible staff of the IWP. Thank you for your caring, your support, and your love. We will be forever thankful. And also somehow love for myself. We have been showered with so many blessings, but I did manage to love myself well a little bit anyway. I think that we live in ruthless and precarious times. A writer has called it the age of anger. We're always somehow finding new ways to oppress one another. And I would not say that love is the solution. It would be naive, very naive. But we need love. We need to spread love around, though it might not change anything, but it's the least we can do. Thank you for the love, and I love you all with all my heart.
Hello, it's Usman Ali from Pakistan. I was feeling exerted today, and if it were my reading, perhaps I could not have come, but I wanted to say this, that's why I have come. I have 16 images of America, and my first image is Mary Nazareth. My second image is Hugh, third image is Meg, third Hugh, fourth Meg, fifth Lee, sixth, Chris, seventh, Natasha, eighth, Sarah, ninth, Angie, 10th, Caitlin, 11, Katie, 12, Kelly, 13, Marian, 14, Andre, 15, James, 16, LA. May you never get hurt in your life. May you never get any trouble in your life. May you always be blessed. May you always be happy. And the last image, which, as I talk about a lot of nonverbal things, and last night when Umar's reading of play was taking place, there were more people and there were less chairs. I was trying to sneak away after 30 minutes. I saw Hugh, Natasha, and Sonia sitting on the steps, like on the floor, so that no writer could stand. So they gave their chairs to writers, and they were sitting on the floor. That is the last image of America I'm taking with me. It is very easy to become a good writer. It's very difficult to become a good human being. I think that last image, those three people, it just got into my mind. I moved away from Shambo House, but that image stayed. I think those three, in that particular image, were one of the finest people. And as long as I'm alive, I would continue to pray for each one of you in IWP staff. May you never get hurt. Thank you so much.
Hello. Usually when we have some panel or some public speech or something like that, I'm always preferring and I'm always making some jokes or other stuff. But now I'm really sad and I will try to explain everything. So when I came to the America, I had some plans to do. First was not to gain the weight. Second, to go to the Hamilton musical, and third, to go to the NBA game, and I will succeed in 3 of these. But the very first image what I saw in the USA was we are living in Iowa House Hotel. So in the entrance there is a door, like you must push to open it, and there is a little sign that says that please on the right door there is a sign that says please use another one because that one is broken. So let's start. Besides everything what good and amazing in here, and really thank you for everything. I'm sad because I have a conversation like 2 days ago, yesterday morning with my wife, and I have 2 baby daughters, and she told me that she will ask the babysitter to come earlier from November because my smaller one will not recognize me, so I will be totally unknown guy for him. That's why I'm sad. And that's why my door of my heart is broken like the door of the Iowa House Hotel. And please use another one. Thank you.
Hello. So my name is Salah Badis and I'm from Algeria. And I wrote 3 phrases there I want to read you. So someone told me that, I really don't remember who's this guy, but someone told me that the Americans created Disneyland to make the rest of the country looks real. And I don't think so, because I have these 4 images from America. So the first crash was in Chicago. I walked for 10 kilometers in one day. In Pittsburgh, I found with Roberto that the city looks like Caracas and Algiers. In New Orleans, it was a very big crash. The Cajun food, the jazz, and in the last night, and this is true, I was not drunk, I saw a striptease show in the sidewalk. So, in Iowa, and because I live across the river, not in the Iowa House Hotel, I moved from 2 days. So, during these 3 beautiful months, every night I come back half drunk with Eva from the Foxhead, talking about our writing, our short stories. I left him at the hotel, and he said, okay, I'm sorry for you, we'll walk for 15 minutes and you are drunk. So I left him at the hotel and I walked for 15 minutes to the cottage in this very long river street where I met deers, raccoons, and chipmunks. And those silent lights of the windows, those journeys at the end of the night will remain with me forever. Thank you. And of course, I love you guys, really. I love you. I love you. And thanks for the IWP staff, and I love you.
In my very first days here, I was totally sure that I was already famous. Because I was looking for a proper place for smoking, and all the people were smiling at me and would say, hey, hi, hello. And I really like to think that I'm really famous here. And the days are not full enough, and the nights are not full enough, and life slips by like a field mouse not shaking the grass. Ezra Pound was my guide here in Iowa City. Thank you very much.
Hello, it's far away. It's first time I speak since 6 days ago when I finished the speech in the University of Minnesota. I lost my voice. I hope I can finish it. For the image of American, it's in my camera and also in my poems. So far I've written around 40 poems, but they are in Chinese. Also, I want to say the 3 of them is devoted to the Mrs. Nie Hualing. But she can read my Chinese. I hope someday it will be in English. I want to say some big numbers, because small numbers you all say. And I count how many days we are here. Exactly, it is 81 days. 81 is 9 square. Maybe Christchurch, the Forbidden City. You know, in Forbidden City in Beijing, and each door, which open only for the emperor, they are 81 needle. 9 each 9, so they are 9. Only in China, only the emperor and the Confucian they can have these numbers. So 81 is most hospitality. And if you look at this word from the other side, from the right side, or maybe from the sky, it is 18, right? And 1 month ago, there's a war between China and America. We call it a trade war. One day, I got a message from my friend. He told me, you have to cherish your stay in USA. Maybe this is your last time to visit. So the situation is very worse at that time. But now I don't think maybe I can come again. But because they won, I travel many times during my stay here. I count altogether, including Iowa, it is 18 states. But only in 28 days. So from Seattle to Miami and from California to New Hampshire, I travel a lot. And especially I saw 6 times the Mississippi River, Minnesota and Dubuque, Davenport, and Burlington, the hometown of Mark Twain, Hannibal, and New St. Louis. So and also we live by the side of Iowa River, and it is a branch of the Iowa of the Mississippi. And finally, if you count 81, it's almost 3 months. We can say 3 months we spend here. I will miss the Iowa and the best university town voted by some newspaper, right? And I will miss. I think I will come again someday, and I want to. If I missed enough, when I go back to China, I will write another 40, maybe 41 poems. So put together 81. I hope. But I won't cry since I have something waiting in China for me. And just like a father far away, during this time, I have 3 new books published in China, which I haven't seen them. So they like my 3 sons or daughters. I'm also happy to go back. Finally, I wish you everyone enjoy your last time, and thank you, Chris, and all the staff in IWP. And I will ask Lee to read my short poem. The title is How to Ask Time to Stay. Thank you.
How to ask time to stay, like family from far off, though not like a leaf driven by the wind. How to cut time like green grass ruminating in the mouth of the beast. How to wake time to the world till he reads with our eyes, with our wide eyes, rhythmic rising to dance. How to stand time at the lectern of life, make him speeches, and become our new leader. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you?
So, I'm Chandra Mohan. I'm from India. Most of you know me. I know you too. So, I'm reminded of a quote by Derek Walcott. He used to say that there is no country in the history of mankind so many people wanted to go to truly in their hearts. I now realize why that is so. So that's it. So also like I'm an awe of like I'm like surprised. I'm in wonder of like what America can offer and how I have the usual stuff. I'm just emotional that we are all living. I'm just grateful to every IWP staff. I've made some good friends like Sarah. I like so many people. So just thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, what I feel is complete gratitude to all of the writers. And Usman listed all the staff, which reminds us that we have almost one staff person for each writer. That's what we call Iowa nice. But I want to make a special thanks to Lee for all the hard work she did to make these presentations so beautiful. And to say that most of these presentations were not off the cuff. You wrote them because, in fact, you are professionals. And if you'd like to send them on to Lee, I'm asking Lee to do one more thing for us, we'll find a place for them on our website because they were so elegantly written and composed. And I know that I'm not the only one who wants to keep those words close to heart. We'll have more chances to say thank you before we leave. And of course, we have many, many more events waiting us in the next several days. So thank you all.